Good afternoon, Big Brother fans. It is Monday, August 12th, day 28, and my brain is doing a little bit better than it was this morning when I did my earlier podcast. So, what the heck is going on in the Big Brother house? Well, the Power Veto was played today. The Power Veto meeting was today, and the Power Veto was played. Tucker did use his Power Veto on himself, and Robina is now the renom, thanks to Quinn, who is, of course, acting as the deep fake HOH. What more to tell you about any of this? Not a ton, to be honest. Quinn and Chelsea and others seem to think that Tucker wasn't going to use it, and that's what their hope was. They really wanted to get Tucker not to use it and kind of potentially go back up again and get voted out on Thursday. But Tucker has used it, so he is safe for another week. And either Rebecca or Rubina, Cedric, or MJ will be going home. The thought is that Cedric will be safe by lieu of being in the Pentagon Alliance, as well as the other alliances that he's in, the big one, the Closure, I just, too many freaking alliances, too many names, the Collective Alliance. So the Collective Alliance, in theory, would keep Cedric safe over MJ or Rubina, since neither of them are in that alliance, right? They don't have a huge, strong alliance that they're a part of. I mean, are they in the new one, the 5.1? I can't even remember who's in the 5.1, but the point is, Rubina and MJ have less connections than Cedric, and MJ probably has the least connections of all, even though she has been trying. A little bit too little, too late. Plus, her connections were with people who have now been evicted. Let's talk about Kenny and Matt, right? So, the odds are pretty high that either Rubina or MJ are going. Most likely the order would be MJ first, then Rubina. Cedric should be safe. That's probably the way it's going to happen. So, that's where we're at. I'm not expecting flip-flopping. The problem with this whole three-person nomination is that the flip-flopping isn't really tending to happen, because it's not a one or the other. It's a one of three, right? And so it just they're already doing their what ifs when they're leading into this, and so you're just not getting that the whole flip-flop where we think they're going to go one way or the other. And we'll see what happens with this new twist, however they change things, right? That's coming. We're going to hear about it tomorrow night, in theory. And as Cleo the Leo pointed out today, and I retweeted her, the whole reason for this special episode tomorrow night is indeed most likely a way to lure in some people that have been watching the Olympics for the past 2 weeks. So get them sucked back into the show, catch them up. Makes total sense. I wish I'd thought of it, but I didn't. It was Cleo that thought of it. So kudos to her for pointing that out. I will also say I've been harping really hard on the AI thing and saying it's all been video just stitched together. I'm going to lift my foot off that charge, and I guess there has been some real, genuine AI going on here where they've kind of morphed them a little bit, and so it isn't just a straight-up video recording. I guess maybe they didn't record them saying exactly the same things, whereas they did more of a sample and did some kind of AI generation. But I'm going to be honest, they could have done a better job, and they could have just plain had all of them do what I said, and just record certain things. Just said, I nominate you, I nominate you, I nominate you, and just play the video. just tell them that they were recording stuff for the fun of it. I mean, there could have been so many ways they could have done that. If they really indeed, which now I'm led to believe that is the case, if they really indeed did have done some really fancy schmancy AI generation, well, they aren't showing it to us enough that we can appreciate it, right? We're not seeing it enough. Show us a really tight shot of that booth and show us, don't show us just a half a glimpse of it. Show it to us, or do a segment, do a behind the scenes segments. They used to do, now this is going back a long ways, for Big Brother 1, they would actually have people come in and talk about the show and what goes into the production. And that definitely has happened with shows with like Big Brother UK. They actually have a behind the scenes, and we're going to go behind the walls, and we're going to do some of this stuff. They can bring that level of detail into this show, and it would not ruin the whole effect. They could do it. They could put someone behind the walls and say, hey, look, here's what it looks like behind the walls, and hey, here's how we did the AI. They could do that. They could extend the show. They've done the show extensions for Amazing Race and Survivor, to where they've dragged it out from an hour an episode to 90 minutes and to get more meat off the bone. They could get more meat off the bone of Big Brother, and all it would take was you really just bring in another crew, right? You bring in a few people that all they're doing is they do a show one night a week for an hour, and they talk about the behind the scenes, the extras and stuff, and they could do a special show. Throw it on at, I don't know, 10:30 at night, 10 o'clock at night, in one of the slots that don't get quite as much viewing, but the hardcore rabid fans would tune in for that and watch it, and it would just give you that much little extra level of connection. Alas, they aren't doing it, so I'll shut up. Anything else to tell you right now? There was something I was thinking of, and you know what? I've forgotten it now, so I'll have to do it later. Here's a side thing. I just got an alert today. This is not necessarily totally Big Brother related. It's more technology and crowdfunding stuff related. So Patreon, right? I have a Patreon. I got 3 new patrons last week. I mean, most of these places that do patrons, they're on the order of, they have hundreds of patrons. They're constantly getting people supporting them and doing stuff. I have a very select few, very special group of people who are my patrons. You're welcome to be one of them, but if you choose not to, that's okay. I just don't love you guys quite as much as I love my patrons, right? But you understand that. I do appreciate that you listen to the commercials and all that stuff. You can become a Patreon or patron by going to patreon.com/BBGOSSIP, all right? If you'd like to. But if not, that's okay. What I found interesting today was I got an email today from Patreon announcing that Apple is going to start enforcing their 30% thing. So what is that, you ask, if you don't know? If you don't know, one of the reasons Apple makes so much money is that anybody who has an app on their site, Apple gets 30% of the cut. Anything they do, if you sign up for Apple, if you sign up for Patreon through your iPhone or through your iPad, if you're using the app and you do it, then Apple's going to get 30% of the cut. Now, what is Patreon doing about this? Well, Patreon is just taking the attitude of, look, we're putting a 30% premium on signing up through Apple. So if you want to be a patron of any vendor, of any person, double check that before you sign up, because it's possible that one of two things is going to happen. Either the people that are doing it are going to agree to give 30% of their cut to Apple, or they're going to say, nope, don't do that, and Patreon is just going to tack on an extra 30% to whatever their level is. So, for a $10 to become a $10 patron for somebody, if you do it through Apple, you're going to become a $13 a month patron. That's a big chunkin' difference. So keep that in mind. I would not, I don't remember when it goes into effect, but it happens soon. I would not be signing up to be patrons of anybody through Apple, because you're either paying an extra 30% or 30% of your money is going directly to Apple, and sorry, they get enough money as it is already, right? So just something to note. What else do I have to tell you? A couple more things that came up today online. One thing was I made a comment about Brooklyn. I made the comment earlier today about Brooklyn being kind of catty with Angela, or snippy with Angela, however you want to say it, over this whole back-to-back pick and everything. I think Brooklyn's gonna go off. I think she's kind of angry, and I think she's just gonna get angrier as the season continues. She is very much if it doesn't go my way, I'm not happy. And they all are to some extent, sure, obviously, but seems a little extra about that. So we're gonna have to see. We may have a good, blow up by Brooklyn sooner or later. I'll be fine with that. I'm okay with that, but let's see what happens. The other thing is just a somewhat random thing, and it was brought to my attention by, BB Live Updates maybe, but one of the accounts shared a tweet from Barstool Sports. Now that opens up a whole can of worms right there, right? My kids can tell me all about Barstool Sports and their history and their back, and their whole sordid past, whatever. So they're not necessarily the best website / Twitter account, but one of the people that writes for them decided to announce that they're a huge Big Brother fan, and they have this opinion, and they ranked all the house guests, because I did click through and look at their posting. First of all, they didn't quote me on anything, so that just loses them a little bit of respect for me. They didn't quote me. I don't know if any of them follow me. And second of all, they did quote a certain spoiler account that I just hate beyond all ends. Like, why would anyone quote that account? And I think if you know who I'm talking about, it's about a fairly new quote, and I say quote, spoiler account that really was a soap opera spoiler account, and then decided to venture into reality, into Big Brother, and I just despise them, and they know that, so that's okay. But they quoted them, so it's like, yeah, no, sorry, Barstool Sports. I don't think you know what you're talking about. But the real issue I had with them is that they said that Angela is like the worst Big Brother player of all time, like insufferable, worst, annoying, and it's like, oh no, you have no idea. And they readily admitted in their article that they don't watch the live feeds. So, sorry, if you are going to put yourself out there as some kind of an expert, you have to watch the live feeds. You have to have been watching the live feeds. And frankly, you're not an expert until you've watched several seasons of live feeds, in my opinion. You have to have a lot of time under your belt that most of these places would never invest because they have better things to do with their lives, right? So, yeah, I don't trust those, and that's major clickbait, major just looking for traffic. And they're getting it because people are reacting to it, so, and I just talked about them too. So, I'm just as guilty, I suppose. But, yeah, Angela is by far from the worst player ever to play and most insufferable and all of these other things. They just have no clue. I mean, I would have to look at the list of hundreds of people that have played Big Brother USA, and then I would have to go and there's just names I can't even think of that are much worse players than Angela, right? And there's a reason I can't think of them, because I have just crossed them out of my collective memory. But there's even very popular ones that are worse than Angela. That would be easier for me to come up with. Angela is far from as insufferable as some very popular house guests, because they're popular because they were popular on the TV show, but on the live feeds they were insufferable. And there's one I can think of right there. I shall not be saying their name, but you get the idea. Okay, that's it, guys, for my afternoon there. I did a much better job than this morning, right? Maybe, please. So, yeah. It's been a day. It's been a Monday. We'll see what happens going forth with the rest of the week. It could be a slow week, guys. It may be a slow week. This deep fake just isn't turning out as much as I thought. Now, if I am wrong, and I think I may be kind of wrong about the whole AI part, maybe they will generate Angela doing some insults, and Angela will be like, I never said that. That would be okay. So maybe they will do that, but so far they haven't. I'm hopeful that they will. I'm hopeful that they do something that'll make people kind of freak out. Like, I didn't say any of that. I wouldn't have said that. That would be good. But the problem is that when are they going to show it to us? They haven't done it yet. The Power Veto meeting is now over. So unless they did it sometime and we don't know about it, it can't be until Thursday's show. And Thursday's show is jam-packed with stuff. Although they did find time. They did find time to do silly stuff last Thursday's show. So, they could still do it. We'll see. Oh, there's also rumors now that the wall competition might be coming up. The house guests seem to think that they're going to close the backyard early. So maybe it'll be like a wall endurance competition. Very possible. Could be. I wouldn't say no for sure this year or this week. That I would not be surprised with an endurance competition. The house has been whittled down enough. This is getting close to jury time. It's going to mean something to them. Now, who do I think could win the wall? Someone asked, and I said Tucker because he's not that big. And someone immediately came back and says he's 6'1". I don't mean tall big. I mean like muscular big. I mean like muscle bound, bulky kind of a guy. He's pretty. I want to use the word sinewy. He's pretty low body fat. I think he's pretty damn strong, and I could see him staying up. And plus, he's just, frankly, just like a beast and determined. And I could just see him going like, I am going to win this, and I will destroy you all. And I could see everybody else kind of being like, quitting, because they're just not going to be able to. They just know they won't be able to outlast him. So I don't see any house guest in that house right now that I think has the will. Although it could be Cedric and Tucker, or Cedric and Quinn. Maybe, I don't know. But other than that, I don't see any of the women in the house having either the will, one of the two, either the will or the strength to be able to outlast Tucker. I don't think Chelsea's got it in her. I don't think Leah, I don't think Rubina would care. I don't think Takor's going to. I mean, Lisa might have been the one, and she's gone. Maybe Brooklyn? Maybe? I don't know. Not sure. So we'll see. We'll talk more about it as the week goes on. Have a good evening, everybody. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you all tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have interesting stuff to talk about. See you later. Bye-bye.